I genuinely don't know who needed this more, us or the Red Sox. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. Look, coming into yesterday, the Red Sox, they were stumbling quite a bit, right? They had just lost 3 out of 3 games to the Detroit Tigers. They got swept in Detroit. They come back home to Fenway. They say, hey, things are going to turn around. We got new jerseys. We got Garrett Crochet on the mound. He gives you a really good performance, but then your bullpen gives it up. And coming into this game, for a very long time yesterday, it felt like the Red Sox were about to lose 5 games in a row, but that didn't happen. And the Red Sox ended up pulling out, in my opinion, what may just be the most important win of the season so far. And I think what we got to do, what we got to start with specifically, is we got to start by laying down the groundwork a little bit. I'm sure you guys ultimately know what happened here in yesterday's game. I'm sure a lot of you guys ended up watching yesterday's game, but let's lay some groundwork a little bit. The scene starts with Lucas Giolito throwing a flat-out stinker. It was not a good outing for Lucas, and we are talking about this rotation at some point this week. It has not been good for the Red Sox this year. Either way, it was a 4 innings, 6 earned run on 8 hits performance with the same amount of strikeouts as he had home runs allowed at 3, and it was really starting to look like the Red Sox were going to lose their 5th game in a row. Then, the bottom of the Red Sox order started to show up, specifically guys like, say, Don Rafael, who has been really hot lately, who has started to really turn around his season offensively. It's a guy I haven't given a ton of love to on this channel over the past couple of weeks, but he has genuinely been a very consistent hitter for the Red Sox over the past couple of weeks and absolutely deserves his flowers for getting on base and putting the Red Sox in a position to score runs in this game. Carlos Narvaez, I don't want Connor Wong starting a single other game this season. Look, I like Connor. He seems like a good guy. The pitchers seem to like throwing to him. I want Carlos Narvaez every single day behind the dish, if humanly possible. This dude just simply finds a way to get the job done, and what that did was it laid the groundwork for Jiren Durant to show up. He went 2 for 5 on the night with 4 RBIs. That is an incredibly great sign for Boston. The Red Sox, they need their leadoff man. We've said it before, and we'll probably say it again this season. The Red Sox will not win baseball games when Rafael and Jiren Durant are not hitting the baseball. When they are hitting the baseball, this team turns into one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the entire sport, and he was doing exactly that. And in this game specifically, all of his hits came with runners in scoring position. Every single hit he had scored runs for the Boston Red Sox. That is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Something we've talked about a ton of times on this channel. The Red Sox come up in these big situations with a lot of games lately, and it feels like they fall directly on their face. They didn't do that in this game in large part due to what Jiren Durant did at the plate. This is Jiren Durant at his best. This is the player the Red Sox fans and Red Sox media, and really the national media as well, have fallen in love with over these past couple of years. And it didn't stop there, because Jiren Durant, while he was driving in runs, the Red Sox bullpen was preventing them from happening. You talk about Brennan Bernardino coming in, he throws together a solid performance, a much better performance than what he gave you in the first game of this series. Then you get Nick Birdie coming in. He kind of escapes by the skin of his teeth, but he puts up ultimately a good overall performance for you. Then all of a sudden, Garrett Whitlock is able to give you a nice clean inning. To me, this may be one of the most important parts of this win last night, right? We've heard rumors that, hey, the Red Sox figured out that Garrett Whitlock may have been tipping his pitches over the last couple of outings, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you look at the metrics overall in Garrett Whitlock, they still look pretty good. It was kind of a question as to, okay, why is he getting punished so badly on his pitches when he's going out there in these outings? He clearly figured out something because he looked really good in this clean outing. We'll see if that continues, right? And there's a lot of we'll sees in this video, but let's celebrate something for a second. And in the meantime, while all of this is happening, while the Red Sox are actually starting to get legitimately decent outings from this bullpen, they were also putting together a little bit of a comeback here. You had Rafael Devers with an RBI double. You had Alex Bregman with an RBI double. All of a sudden, this game is tied up. All of a sudden, the Red Sox have started to claw their way back into being able to have a conversation about potentially winning this game. And all of a sudden, the ninth inning rolls around. But before we get to the ninth inning of this game, I got to take a second and talk to you guys about the brand new Red Seat Radio merch we have available right here on this channel. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm wearing the brand new Red Seat Radio hat. It is an embroidered hat. This is one of my favorite things I've ever put out. It legitimately looks like something that could be sold at Fenway Park. It's absolutely incredible. I love it a ton. It comes in a couple of different colors. I have the blue, navy one here. We got a white one as well. We got a whole bunch of different Red Seat Radio t-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of great things. I'm incredibly proud of how all of this had turned out. So if you want to take a look at the brand new Red Seat merch, either click the link in the description of this video or head over to my YouTube page, click on store, and that link there, all you got to do is click on one of the pictures, will take you right there. Thank you all very much for taking a second, considering taking a look at some of this merch. Let's get back to the video. Aroldis Chapman's looked fantastic this season, and of course, he was put in charge of keeping the game tied in the ninth inning, and of course, he kind of delivered. Now, it wasn't a sort of, not typical, right? Because there have been some moments in this season where Aroldis Chapman either gets walked off or he has a shaky ninth inning, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid, and for the most part, he was pretty solid in this outing as well. He allowed a hit, he allowed a walk, and then he struck out the side, right? He struck out the first batter, walk, hit, 2 strikeouts in a row, inning over. And I got to tell you, I don't love rooting for Aroldis Chapman, but it's impossible to dismiss right now just how good he's been on the mound. It feels like most of the time here, he's coming in and he is absolutely locking a game down, and he continued to do that in this series, and I absolutely loved it, right? We talk about, hey, why is this game so important? This is a sign that the Red Sox can get the job done, and having Aroldis Chapman in the back end, ready to go when you are able to get the job done, is absolutely something to hang your hat on. And then the bottom of the ninth inning comes around, right? Shipping up to Boston's playing in the background. Fenway Park's on their feet. They're rowdy. They don't even really have a chance. Hey, you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom. You're not going to be able to finish off your popcorn. Certainly not going to be able to do anything else, because 4 pitches in to the ninth inning, Rafael takes you deep. He goes absolutely bonkers into the Red Sox bullpen. In fact, interestingly enough, this was Rafael Devers' first home run walk-off in a Red Sox uniform. I thought that was kind of funny. Rafael Devers has had walk-offs before in a Red Sox uniform. He'll have walk-offs after this in a Red Sox uniform, but kind of interesting. It took him this long to get a walk-off home run. I would have figured he'd have one by now, but who cares, right? Because the Red Sox won this baseball game, and I feel like I took forever to lay that scene out, but it's so fun going over, right? It feels really good to be talking about a game the Red Sox came back in, as opposed to a game where it felt like the Red Sox were going to come back in and then ultimately lost. And I think that's why this game feels so important, right? I think it actually feels important for a couple of different reasons, but the simplest answer is because the Red Sox needed this more than anything in the world, right? We could talk about it statistically. I'm not going to, but it has felt like for a while that the Red Sox simply could not get past that mark. They would get 90% there, or they'd get 95% there, or even 99% there, but they couldn't figure out that last couple of percentage points to put them in the win column. You know what? I am going to go into it statistically. I think it's worth going into statistically, right? Because coming into tonight, they had lost their last 8 one-run games. They were 0-16 during that time when they were trailing past the 6th inning. That is a miserable statistic, and it's a big reason why they were so miserable to watch as a team lately. It felt like they had no fight in them, and tonight proved that wrong. And that's, in my opinion, the biggest reason, right? It gives us as fans a little bit of hope. Now, we'll see kind of how that carries on, and we'll see whether or not this develops into anything, but for just the time being, for the next, until the game at 1:35 today, so the next 12, 24, whatever amount of hours, I'm not going to do that kind of math right here, you could celebrate it a little bit, right? When was the last time we got to sit here and celebrate a comeback win like this, where the Red Sox were down by as many as 4 or 5 runs in this game, but didn't give up? They continued to go. They continued to put their best performance out on the field, and it ultimately ended up with them winning a baseball game. It's been a very long time, and we as fans desperately needed this. But the second reason is because this team needed this. How many times we sit here and we lost confidence in the Red Sox a little bit, right? I could sit here and I could say, hey, I still believed in this Red Sox team, and I did still believe in this Red Sox team, and I do still believe in this Red Sox team, but that doesn't mean you didn't lose confidence in their ability to win baseball games. Could you imagine what it was like for the Red Sox on the field, where they would show up every day, give their 100%, battle, claw, get almost there, and then ultimately not come away with anything significant at the end of the day, right? That's got to be absolutely demoralizing, and they needed something like this. They needed that big moment. They needed that clutch hit. They needed that big performance from a big player, from a leader on this team, and that's exactly what they got in this game. And I know it sounds stupid, and I know it sounds childish to sit here and say, oh, one singular game out of 162, Corbin, what are we doing, right? If we're not judging them off of however many games they played so far this year, why are we judging them off of one? And I'm not sitting here saying that, right? I'm not sitting here talking to you guys about, hey, this is going to totally transform who the Red Sox are, but it absolutely has the potential to do that. And I think that's what we need to focus on right now. They need to obviously actually get that done. They need to actually go in here and do something about it and actually transform it into a legitimate turning point for this Red Sox team. But don't you think it could be, right? Especially with a guy like Rafael, especially with a guy who's taken so much interest off the field for the Red Sox, whether it be in spring training, whether that be, a week ago at this point where he made his last statements, right? He felt like a distraction to this club. He felt like a reason why the Red Sox were losing. For him to have a big moment in this series, to have maybe one of his biggest moments as a Red Sox period in this series, or in this game specifically, in my opinion, is a really, really big potential turning point for the Red Sox. Something these guys can rally behind, a reminder of how talented they are. And we kept saying this, right? The Christian Campbell home run in Detroit, we said it. This could be a sort of catapulting moment for this Red Sox team. They didn't end up winning that, ended up kind of just sinking the team further. I'm hoping that this comes out right here, and this is a big moment for the Red Sox that totally turns things around. I also think sort of one of the more underrated parts of all of this is that the reason the Red Sox won this game is also the biggest reason why they've been losing games lately. We're going to talk about the rotation at some point this week. I already said that in this video, but they are also a big part of this too. But more importantly, the bullpen's been unable to keep you in, not even in games, winning games, right? They've been able to kind of keep you in games, although if you give up a walk-off run, kind of hard to keep people in games, but for the most part, they've been able to kind of keep you in games, but they haven't been able to keep you in leads in games, especially in late innings. And even if they could, the offense would just disappear. Specifically, your big players would disappear in late innings. Duran, Devers, Bregman, those guys would totally disappear when the lights were brightest and you were losing games with the top of your lineup coming up in the biggest spots of the night. This game in particular, it was the exact opposite, right? It flipped it on its head. You got big performances from the Red Sox bullpen. You've got big performances from an offense that really, really had their biggest players out there in the biggest moments. I mean, again, you talk about it. Duran, 4 RBIs tonight. Bregman, an RBI tonight. Devers, a walk-off home run tonight, right? Those are big moments from your big players, and this is how you were supposed to win baseball games, right? This is how you were designed to be a competitive team, and we haven't seen this all that much this season. So I really, really think this is an important game that the Red Sox just won here. Now, obviously, like I said, they need to catapult it, right? You can't just sit here and say, hey, man, look, we won this game. We're good. Thank you very much. We'll take the win and we'll try and win the series against the Mets. No, right? You need to start winning more games. You're still a game under 500. You have to win today just simply to get yourself back into being an average baseball team, but it's little steps, right? It's big moments that lead to little steps, that lead to bigger steps, that lead to wins. And right now, you just had your first big moment. Don't let it go to waste. Don't let it become an issue. Utilize your best win of the season to make something special out of these next few weeks, and then we can start having a conversation about the Red Sox competing again. But until then, Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the game last night. Am I overblowing this? Am I totally blowing it out of proportion because I've been dying for some positive Red Sox news? Are you sitting there thinking the same thing as me? Hey, that was a really, really great game by the Red Sox. This could be a tide-turning game for the Red Sox. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you guys want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.